Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. اللهم اجعل جمعنا هذا جمعا مرحوما وتفرقنا من بعد تفرقا ساميا معصوما. اللهم لا تجعل فينا شقيا ولا محروما ولا مطرودا ولا معذبا بنار برحمتك يا عزيز الغفار. Today, my dear brothers and sisters, we'll talk about رحلة الإسراء والمعراج أو معجزة الإسراء والمعراج. Today we'll cover the one of the great miracle, not the greatest ever, one of the great miracle that happened with the Prophet ﷺ, what's called the trip of Al-Isra and Al-Mi'raj. And as you know the context of that, when that happened when the people of the earth rejected Prophet Muhammad ﷺ after the trip of Ta'if. And in that situation, where, as you know, the Prophet ﷺ lost great supporters, his wife Khadija and his uncle Abu Talib, and then the people of Ta'if rejected him, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala invited him. So something, one of the reasons of that, like I have to say, was clearly to soften the heart of the Prophet and to strengthen the heart of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And this miracle is greater than the miracle when Musa alayhi salam spoke to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because he speaks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on a mountain. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala invited the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to speak to him in the seventh heaven. That's greater than all other miracles that happened on the hand of the other prophets. And when that happened, we didn't know exactly when it happened, but for sure happened few years before the Hijrah. Some of the scholars said 18 months, some they said 2 years. So in that range. And another reason beside that, to strengthen the heart of the Prophet and show his position in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is to bring something to the ummah that will elevate the ummah. That will be the mi'raj of the ummah. Each one of us, and every single day we have a mi'raj. A way to elevate us, to connect to us to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you know what is that? Is your salah, your sila, your prayer. As-salah is your mi'raj. And the Prophet ﷺ came with this gift. I didn't even want to say this command, this gift, the 5 daily prayers. If somebody might ask, oh, there's no prayers before that? No, there is. There is a prayer before that. I'm sure you recited Surah Al-Muzammil. You know when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Ya ayyuha al-Muzammil, qum al-layla illa qalila. And the Prophet ﷺ used to pray. However, the command for him at that time, that 2 rak'ah at night and 2 rak'ah in the day. As Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam used to do. But after the Isra wal Mi'raj, now the 5 daily prayers. Which 5 in numbers, but it's 50 in reward. As you know what happened in the story when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told him that, go and tell them about that I command them 5 in a day and night, but count an equivalent to 50 of those prayers. And I want you just to imagine, just imagine if the 50 remain as 50. We're going to have it. Think of it. If 50 prayers remain as 50. To all of us, we should say, may Allah grant mercy for Prophet Musa alayhi salam. He's the one he advised alayhi to go back and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it less. Is'aluhu takhfif. And he went back and forth until the final declaration is just 5. If it's 50, I don't know how we could maintain it. Some people even struggling with those 5, yes? To bring it on time in the right way, in the right, performance. So anyway, that was the miracle of Al-Isra wal-Mi'raj. Al-Isra wal-Mi'raj happened, and according to the belief of Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah, bil-Ruhi wal-Jasad. It's not only spiritually and spiritual journey. No. It's a physical journey. Some people might think, that's spiritually. He thought that he went to Baytul Maqdis and then to the seventh heaven. No. It was physical trip with his body. How that is possible? What do you mean? You're questioning the ability of Prophet Muhammad, or you're questioning the ability of Allah? The Prophet ﷺ, he never said Saraytu. He said Usriya bi. He didn't say I went. No. He said Allah took me into a journey. Allah took me. So is that something impossible in the ability and the power of Allah? No, nothing like that is impossible for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala power. Do you get the point? So when you measure it with your mind and you say, that's Muhammad went. No. It's not by himself, by the qudra of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, and everything is possible. So do not measure anything like a mu'jizah, like a miracle, with a normal way of things that happening, in our daily life. So no, this is with the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And what is mu'jizah? Do you know what is mu'jizah? Do you know that? The birth of a baby, this is a mu'jizah, a miracle. The fruit that comes from the tree is a mu'jizah, it's a miracle. Everything's around us, it's a miracle. But we took it for granted, and it's normal things that we have seen. We see the sun that comes from a certain position. We say, that's normal. No, this is by itself. It's a miracle. It's not only the miracle when it twists the turning and comes from different direction. You get my point? But anyway, now as a definition, we define the mu'jizah. What's the mu'jizah? هي الأمر الخارق للعادة الغير قابل للتحدي ويأتي عن طريق رجل ادعى النبوة وثبتت نبوته. So there are three conditions in order to name that miracle in Islamic term. Like in our normal way of thinking, we said, this is a miracle, about everything. Is that right? But from the Islamic term, you need to fulfill these three conditions. أمر خارق للعادة. It's unusual things that happen. They're خارق للعادة. It's not something normal as people get to use. So it's against the norm. And not only this, غير قابل التحدي, undefeatable. Nobody can challenge it. And by the way, nobody can challenge it at that time and this time and any other time. When you look at that from that term, nobody can. You will say now people travel, but not traveling like a buraq or traveling with the wind like a Sulaiman. Yeah, traveling with the airplane. There's some disease being cured that Prophet Isa, Jesus used to rub on the skin of the people, and Allah will grant cure for them. And nowadays maybe being treated. Okay, so what? But treated by different things, not just by rubbing on the skin with no other means, and by the will of Allah that will happen. So you get the point. So this is undefeatable, not only at that time, even at this time. So when you say Quran is a miracle, it's not only because of at that time they cannot challenge it. No, any time cannot be challenged. So undefeatable and cannot be challenged. And that comes on the hand of a person that he claimed he's a prophet and was proven that he's a prophet. So if it's something undefeatable that happened on a person that's he's a liar, that's we don't call it mu'jiza. We called it different name. We called it istidraj, fitna. It's a istidraj. It could happen, yes, could happen. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, سَنَسْتَدْرِجُهُمْ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ وَأُمْلِي لَهُمْ. I'll give you an example. I'm sure you have heard about the false Messiah, Al-Masih al-Dajjal. Yes? Have you heard about it? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give him such a power where he will point to the sky and the rain comes, he will point to the earth and grass will grow, and he will have a sword and kill somebody, split him, and then he will tell him as before, and he will be. So he will revive somebody after death. Is that miracle? No. We call it istidraj. Because missing the point, that's not the person that happened on his hand, is not the one Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala confirmed as a messenger. But that one that was a means of tribulation, a means as a trial or a test for humanity. So we call it istidraj. And many other things could happen. I'm sure you have heard about karama. We can talk about it later, but I'll give you an example of karama that's undefeatable, something unusual, but the person that happened with him is not a prophet. That's called karama, ikram. That's like a gift. I'll give you an example. Are you ready for example? Sayyidina Umar one time was standing on a minbar and he said, Ya Seerah, Al-Jabal. Oh Seerah, the mountain. In the middle of the khutbah. People, they don't know what happened. You know what? When they realized what happened? A few months later, when Seerah, the leader of the army, came, and he told him, I heard the voice of Sayyidina Umar advising us to take the mountain because we'll be surrounded by our enemies. When we took the mountains, we protected ourselves from them. Subhanallah. Sayyidina Umar has deep concern to the point that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala visualized for him what happened in the battlefield. So he can see and they can hear. He's in Medina and they are 1,000 miles distance. There's no satellite at that time. There is no internet at that time. And even still a miracle, like, kind of like called karama. Because with no wiring or no tools, just Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brought that for them. So that's called karama. And by the way, anything could be karama like a mu'jiza, except one thing cannot be karama. One thing cannot be karama. أن تقول امرأة ولدت بدون والد. A lady will come and they said, this is my baby. So we told her, how? This like a Maryam, like a Mary. No, that cannot be. That cannot be. That's opened the door of evil, and that cannot be. Other things, it can be, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it could give karama to any person with any way. Okay? There are many other things undefeatable or something unusual. It could happen, but not all of them in this category. There's another one called ihana. Have you heard about ihana? It's the opposite of karama. Have you heard about it? Any answer? No? I'll give you an example. Do you know Musaylam al-Kadhab? The one he claimed that he's a messenger after the Prophet. His name was Musaylama. Musaylama, they told him, Prophet ﷺ returned the eye of Qatada when he came, and the eye that's hanging in his face, and he's like kind of holding it. So the Prophet said, how about you be patient and Allah will reward you? He said, yes, I want that. But at the same time, I feel embarrassed to go to my family with one eye. So the Prophet smiled and he put it back. And he rubbed it. And became stronger than even the other. And even when the other eye gets sick, like a ramad, which usually ramad when touch both eyes. The other eye, the Prophet touch it and never be sick like the other one. What's called this one? Like what happened with Musaylama? What happened with Musaylama? What happened? They brought to him a man lost his eyes. They told him, we want you to bring back his eyes like Muhammad did with the Qatada. He said, okay, yeah, I will do it. Okay, you will do it. He spit in his face. He became a blind. He became a blind. You know, what's called this one? Ihana, in the opposite way. One time the Prophet ﷺ told him, there is a well in Medina that became not that sweet and not that much water in it. He told him, point me to it. And he went there and he spit in there, and mashallah, became one of the sweet water in Medina, and it's gushing like mashallah, it's a lot of water. They told Musaylama, we want you to do the same for that well. He said, yeah, okay, I will do it. He went there and he spit in the what? And the water is gone. They put down bucket after one, like a robe, like, down. They couldn't. Finally, they found water in there. Was the worst water in the city. Subhanallah. What's called this one? Ihana. Anyway, so there are ways that's not mu'jiza. Mu'jiza, undefeatable, that comes for the challenge, it comes in the hand of a prophet. Am I clear? Okay. And by the way, the mu'jiza of Rasulullah, that's something you can have volumes. Actually, what are some scholars collected in volumes, the mu'jizat. But there's no much mention about it, yes? There's no much mention about it because we need to focus on the Quran and what's mentioned in the Quran. But there are many mu'jizat, unbelievable. Many mu'jizat happen on the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam hand. Sallu ala Rasulillah. So, mu'jizat al-Isra'i wal-Mi'raj was mentioned in the Quran, and that's why we have even to talk about it. Any other mu'jiza mentioned in the Quran happened on the hand of Rasulullah? Can you imagine? Can you share with me something? The first ayah in Surah Al-Qamar. Thank you. اقتربت الساعة وانشق القمر وإن يروا آية يعرض ويقول سحر مستمر وكذبوا واتبعوا أهواءهم وكل أمر مستقر. So that's one of the other miracles that's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in Surah Al-Qamar. Now, if somebody said, no, there's no Isra. The scholars said if somebody denied the Isra, that person, he's not counted as the followers of the Prophet ﷺ. Why is that? Because he's denying denying an ayah, true miracle, as an ayah mentioned in the Quran. Where the Isra mentioned? The first ayah in Surah Al-Isra. سبحان الذي أسرى بعبده ليلا من المسجد الحرام إلى المسجد الأقصى الذي باركنا حوله لنريه من آياتنا إنه هو السميع البصير. صدق الله العظيم. And I mentioned to you where Isra mentioned. Can you tell me where is the Mi'raj mentioned? Mi'raj. Surah المعراج والنجم إذا هوى ما ضل صاحبكم وما غوى وما ينطق عن الهوى إن هو إلا وحي يوحى علمه شديد القوى ذو مرة فاستوى وهو بالأفق الأعلى. Do you remember now? Until Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said ما كذب الفؤاد ما رأى أفتمارونه على ما يرى ولقد رآه نزلة أخرى عند سدرة المنتهى عندها جنة المأوى إذ يغشى السدرة ما يغشى ما زاغ البصر وما طغى لقد رأى من آيات ربه الكبرى. In Surah Al-Isra, لنريه من آياتنا. And here, لقد رأى من آيات ربه الكبرى. The Mi'raj mentioned in Surah Al-Najm. Now, we said as belief of Ahlul Sunnah that happened on the Ruh and Jasad. Not only spiritual journey, but even like physical journey. Do you know what is a stronger evidence for that? Do you know what's the strongest evidence? The strongest evidence ever. That's proof that Rasulullah went physically there. Do you know what is? Can you think? Huh? Yeah, in the Quran it's clear. Asra bi'abdihi, it's clear. You know, that's clear. But logically, because sometimes people, they might interpret the verse differently, but logically, that cannot be defeated. I'll tell you, when the Prophet came back, what happened? They denied him and they start making fun of him. Oh, he said, oh, he went to Jerusalem, he went to skies. He's a crazy. So they denied. And then actually some of even a newly believer rejected that. What makes the person denying something unless the Prophet told him, I went physically. If he told him, I had a dream or I thought that I went, nobody will deny. Okay? I'm thinking now, I'm taking the lunch in Paris. I went there, had my breakfast in where? Where Ali? Huh? So I'm thinking, it's fine. You cannot say, you know, I denied. Last night I dreamt. It's okay, yeah. Who will deny it? If I said to you, I dreamt this and that. Nobody, yes? But when I told you physically, I went to the seventh heaven, I went to, yeah, that's a question. Yes? And that's why they told him, okay, give us evidence. Describe Bayt al-Maqdis for us. They told him, describe Bayt al-Maqdis for us. And subhanAllah, at the time, the Prophet never get a chance to look around and to describe it. It's not that easy. But what happened? Allah showed him at the time Bayt al-Maqdis. So he was looking to it and describing Bayt al-Maqdis to them. So this is evidence. And actually they went to Sayyidina Abu Bakr, they want to make fun of him. Abu Bakr, have you heard what your friend said? He said, he went last night, in part of the night, to Jerusalem, to the seventh heaven. Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq said, إن كان قال فقد صدق. If he said it, then he said the truth. I believe in him was something even beyond that. I believe in him that the revelation comes from the seventh heaven like this. The revelation comes from seventh heaven like this. So I didn't believe that he would go there. He's in connection with seventh heaven day and night. So I'm not surprised. And from that time he took the title As-Siddiq. Now we think it's easy, yes? Oh, it's normal, yeah, he believed in that. No, it's not the same. Look at the Iman of Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq. He never even hesitated. And today, you will find some Muslims, they try to interpretate the Isra and Mi'raj and many other miracles. Oh, Tayr and Ababil, this is Jodari. This one, oh, this, that. What are you talking about? Why you need to interpret that? Why it's hard for you to understand? Why it's not that easy to believe? Then there's a question mark. Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq, he said, إِن كَانَ قَالَ فَقَدْ صَدَقَ. This should be our reaction when we heard the Prophet ﷺ statement. Somebody will tell you this is hadith. He said, we heard, we obey. سمعنا وأطعنا. If that's authentic hadith, you have to accept it. Do not question it. If it's authentic. And then study it, and learn from it. But said, no. This is not logic. Who told you this? We'll talk about logic. Who told you that we talk about science? We talk about the power of Allah. We talk about miracles. Why you measure it with science? Science doesn't work here. And by the way, science could explain it, by the way. You could explain what happened in there with science. You could. If you're good in science, yes. And we can talk about it from that aspect as well. What happened for Isra and Mi'raj. But You don't need to come to and to go to that route or that way. So what happened at that night? There's a lady called Hani, where the Prophet was there in the Hijr, and he was sleeping at night, and somebody came to wake him up. And he went, and he came back. And Hani said, وَلَمْ يَبْرُدْ فِرَاشُهُ بَعْدْ. All of what happened in Isra or Mi'raj, and the bed of the Prophet is still warm. Because time in there does not count. Allah's ability, many things could happen, yes? And I'll give you just an example. I'm not comparing, but just give you an example that happened to you. Is it happened that you slept and dreamt? Any of you have that dream? And the dream, the actual time of it, it might be few seconds, less than a minute. But when you come to tell, you might spend half an hour telling people what happened in there. Does that happen with you, Akram? Like, yeah, it was not even like a long dream as the physical people tell you, oh, you just, you slept for a few minutes. And you had a dream, and when you tell the dream, many incidents and details happen in there, and the actual one is nothing. How you explain it? Tell me. Yes? So do not think of the time that, oh, that's impossible, that will happen. No. We're talking about the power of Allah. We're not talking about the normal time. So, Jibreel alayhi salam and with the Mikael, they came to the Prophet with the Buraq. Buraq. You know what's Buraq? It's an animal that's prepared for Prophet. بين الحصان والبغل. Like in size of a horse, between the horse and the donkey. Some people, they think this has wings, has a horn. You know what? Forget about all of that. There's a book called معراج ابن عباس, يعني إسراء ابن عباس ومعراج ابن عباس, like حديث ابن عباس في المعراج. That book is fabricated. When you study about the Seerah, especially Isra Mi'raj, do not study it from that. The book that people claim that Ibn Abbas wrote it, that's not right. And actually, later, when Muslims learn how to document and write, books, later on, the end of the time of Umayyi, but none of them at that time wrote like their book or ta'leef or something like that. No. So there is no such book that Ibn Abbas wrote in that regard. So they took that animal. An animal goes according to its sight. So when, let's say, the animal able to see the distance of 50 miles, so the two legs here and the other legs in there, that is just one. Okay, one step. So that's a special animal that was there. And subhanallah, that animal prepared for the Prophet ﷺ, yes? But despite all of that, when the Prophet ﷺ reached Baytul Maqdis, he tied it up in a place in there. It's not exactly what they call Ha'it al-Buraq, but somewhere there. Why is that? Why he had to tie it? It was prepared for him. This is a lesson for us. اعقلها وتوكل. Tie it up and rely on Allah. This is how you should do always. الأخذ بالأسباب. Do not just say, that's for me, it's not going to go anywhere. No, but that lessons we learn. So the Prophet ﷺ went there, and many things happened actually on the way. On the way, one of the things that he saw caravan lost their way. So the Prophet called to them, and they couldn't find who was talking to them. And they fixed their direction. On the way, the Prophet saw in his grave Musa alayhi salam praying. And he told the Sahaba, if I'm there, I will tell you where is his grave. And by the way, that caravan reached Mecca months later, and they told the story that we heard somebody told us that's not the right direction, this is not the right direction, and he helped us. So the Prophet ﷺ went there, and that tells you the significance of Bayt al-Maqdis. And remember, at that time, still the Qibla is Bayt al-Maqdis. The Qibla for Salah is still Bayt al-Maqdis. When the Qibla changed? When? After 16 months of the Hijrah. When Rasulullah went to Medina, by 16 months, the verses came for changing the Qibla. فَلَنُوَلِّيَنَّكَ قِبْلَةً تَرْضَاهَا, that revealed after the Hijrah by 16th month. 16 or one riwayah 17th month. The Prophet ﷺ loves Mecca so much. When he was in Mecca, that he was facing Bayt al-Maqdis. However, he will make Mecca in between. So he will gather both. He will pray Mecca, another side is Bayt al-Maqdis. He could do that, but he could not do that when he went to Medina, because that's an opposite direction. And his heart is still attached to Mecca. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala honored that wishes of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and changed the direction to Mecca. فَلَنُوَلِّيَنَّكَ قِبْلَةً تَرْضَاهَا. The Prophet ﷺ, what he did in Bayt al-Maqdis? Salah. He prayed there as an Imam. Who's behind? All prophets. Subhanallah. He is the Imam of all prophets. And that's a great symbolic. That when you choose the Prophet ﷺ, your Imam, that means you gain everyone. Today we had a sister accepted Islam. And when I asked her, how you get to know, do you know any Muslims? She said, no. She said, I used to go to the church, Jehovah's Witness, Kingdom Hall, and she said they had a class to teach other religion. And they were teaching us in one class is Islam. And she said, I figured out what they are teaching not through Islam. They are giving and sending wrong message. However, they talked to her, about Islam, how Islam accepting all prophets. She said, I like that concept. And from that time, I start reading about Islam. And she came today and said the Shahada. Alhamdulillah. So the Prophet ﷺ led the Salah with all prophets. All of them prayed our Salah with the ruku' or with sujood. And then, now you might say, how? For all of these miracles and unseen, do not ask how. And it's not even important for us to ask, and not even important for us to know. What's important, that is authentic? Yes. When he went there, he was given the choice to drink from milk or alcohol, khamr. And the Prophet ﷺ chose the cup of milk, because he chose the fitrah, our deen, the deen of fitrah. Our deen speaks to our innate nature, to our original state, the pureness, the cleanness. That's a fitrah, and that's what's important. Bismillah. We still have time? Huh? Okay. Yes. So the Prophet ﷺ prayed with the Anbiya, and then from that time he was taken with Jibreel alayhi salam to the seven heaven, one after the other. Do you know Bayt al-Maqdis? Do you know Al-Masjid al-Aqsa? Do you know? Which one? Which one? You saw the pictures, yes? Which one? Do you know which one? Huh? Which dome? Do you think that the golden one? Aha, no. Yeah, be careful with that. That's Qubbatul Sakhra. The dome of the rock, that's not not a Masjid al-Aqsa. This part of the masjid. The masjid all is surrounding all that area. And Qubbatul Sakhra is in there. But not that the place where the Prophet led the salah. Okay? So the whole that area Baytul Maqdis. Oh, there's another dome. Al-Masjid al-Umari. That's another masjid. It might be that the place where the Prophet led the salah in there. That's part of it as well. The gray dome or the silver dome beside it. So, but not the golden one. That's not exactly. This is part of Bayt al-Maqdis because it's all in that haram, in that area. Okay? So, but do not just think of that. This is, the place where the Prophet offered salah. So, from there, he went to the seventh heaven. One heaven after the other. It's an amazing story happened. He met with prophets in there, and each one. And then he reached a place, Jibreel, he said, I cannot go beyond. Jibreel said, I cannot go beyond. Do you know who is Jibreel? He said, if you go, you'll pass. If I go, I'll burn. And the Prophet went. And he spoke to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Did he saw Allah? That's a debatable matter between the Sahaba. Between Ibn Abbas and Sayyidah Aisha. One they will say, you know what? No. He didn't say Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And they quote the Hadith of said, Nurun an nara. It's great light. How I can see? In the other hadith, he said, no, they're so. So there's kind of a debate. But I would say, that's Rasulullah, yes, saw something. But exactly as the believers will see in the Day of Judgment, it might not. Maybe that's how you bring it together. But yeah, he saw something. But maybe it's not the same that as the believers will be honored in the Day of Judgment. But again, that's fine. It's related to Aqidah, but it's not main part of Aqidah. That's why, as a part of Aqidah, we believe that the believers will see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The disbelievers, they will not. As Allah said, كَلَّا إِنَّهُمْ عَنْ رَبِّهِمْ يَوْمَئِذٍ لَمَحْجُوبُونَ. The disbelievers, they're not going to see Allah. However, the believers will see Allah. وُجُوهٌ يَوْمَئِذٍ نَاظِرَةٌ إِلَىٰ رَبِّهَا نَاظِرَةٌ. So they will see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes, in dunya we have no ability. As Allah said to Musa, لَن تَرَانِي. So this in dunya. ولكن in akhirah, that's one of the ni'mah. Not only ni'mah, it's the greatest ni'mah ever is to see Allah. Wallahi. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, after a while, when the people of Jannah, in Jannah, He will ask them, are you pleased? Is any other things that that you wish? They say, oh Allah, you give us everything. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will show them Himself. And nothing like that. Nothing like this. لِلَّذِينَ أَحْسَنُوا الْحُسْنَى وَزِيَادَةً. When one of scholars, he's from Mu'tazila, and the group Mu'tazila, they not exist this time, but there's some of their thoughts here and there. They deny that the believers will see Allah in the Day of Judgment. But that's not kufr, like this is bid'ah. Because it's clear ayat and hadith about it. But this is bid'ah, it's not good. So do not go beyond. So those people, they are careful when they are conveying their ideas. So he, in his tafsir called Al-Kashaf, he commented on the reward of the people of Jannah, and he said, what other pleasure after this? What is other? As if he will want you to say, no other pleasure after this. وَهَلْ هُنَاكَ نَعِيمٌ بَعْدَ هَذَا? You see, the tricky way. He will never say, that's the maximum of the pleasure. So, is there any other pleasure after this? Yes, there is. Yes, there is. Is to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'll tell you something, my dear brothers and sisters. The Prophet went to the seventh heaven and he saw Jannah and what's in there. He saw Jannah. And imagine that a man saw Jannah and he will come back to live like us. This is a normal life. You're not going to be depressed if you live for a short period of time and you see things unbelievable. You go back to normal life. Actually, for the Prophet, that give him more strength to wish to be there and connected with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's actually, it's amazing things. Because the Prophet, he has, I will conclude with this. The Prophet, he has ilm al-yaqeen. And he has haqq al-yaqeen. But after Isra or Mi'raj, he was granted other things. Do you know what's other things? Aynul yaqeen. Aynul yaqeen. He's the first, ilmul yaqeen, it's a knowledge that's a certain what's going to happen. And there is haqqul yaqeen, truth, no doubt in it. But there's another level called the aynul yaqeen. And he needed ayn, with the eyes, with the experience. He needed that experience to gain more strength to face all trouble and problems. And you see the effect of Isra al-Mi'raj on the life of Sallam and his strength even after that. That's what he needed. And he came back and he was okay to tell what happened. He does not care about them. Let them say liars. He knows that they're going to deny. Let them say he's a crazy. I didn't care. My dear brothers and sisters, there's nothing that I feel shame about in my religion. Some Muslims, they are afraid even to say they are Muslims. They are not even feel proud. There's nothing in Islam I feel embarrassed about it. Let them say whatever they want. I love it, all of it. They said Islam allow for wives. Okay, so what? Not me. This is Islam is not allow. Islam is the only religion that limited. You know, Islam cutting the hand of a thief. That's a rahmah. Because if you give me the choice, I might not cut his hand. I might even go beyond, you know. So, see what you talk about? All Islamic rules and systems that I believe in it, and if nothing I feel shame about it. The Prophet ﷺ went back from Isra al-Mi'raj and he told them what happened. Let them say whatever they want. You are Muslims crazy? You are Muslims backward? You are Muslims, you know, well, they didn't know. They didn't know. They are masakeen, wallahi. They are masakeen. They didn't know the dignity and izzah and karama that Islam gave it to you. Give you clear understanding about everything. Islam give you the clear understanding about yourself, about your life. Wallahi. Do not feel embarrassed about anything in Islam. As long as that's the word of Allah or the word of Rasulullah, we heard and we obey. And look at our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He knew that they're going to make fun of him. Is he care? Is he kept quiet? No. No. He does not care even if somebody of his followers rejected him. He does not care. That's a test for them. Let be tested. So that trip, it's amazing. And the greatest gift that the Prophet came with is your salah, is your silah. Your salah is your silah, is your connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's your mi'raj, in fact. Do not miss it. The second day of Al-Isra, Jibreel came to teach the Prophet the times of the prayer, the beginning and the end of the prayer, and how all of that, as mentioned even in Muwatta Imam Malik as a second hadith. In some narrations first, but actually it's the second hadith after the Amal al-Buniyat, as mentioned in some narrations of Muwatta Imam Malik. So anyway, I just summarize it. There are a lot of details of what Rasulullah saw on all these different heavens, and what he saw in the Jannah, and what he saw on the hellfire, and whose people punished, and why. It's all of that amazing things that we learn from it. I advise you to go more to learn from it. Avoid the book that people claim that Ibn Abbas wrote about Isra. This is not authentic. It's fabricated. So this is not right. And that's, the mu'jiza of the Prophet, that of Al-Isra and Mi'raj, is not just a mu'jiza, it's something beyond. Last things to mention before we conclude. Do not wait for the mu'jiza to happen to change your situation, because the mu'jiza never came to change the situation. And I will put you in that comparison. The Prophet went to Baytul Maqdis, to seven heaven, in short period of time, like in part of the night. But when it was required for him to make hijrah from Mecca to Medina, he spent 10 days and night. And a distance that's required maximum of a man is walking 3 days. Why took triple the time that's normally taken? Why at that time the Buraq never brought to Rasulullah? Where's the Buraq now? Why he's not taking him from Mecca to Medina? You know why? Because miracles not there to change the situations. Miracles there to maintain the hearts. So do not wait for the miracles. Oh, this is the Prophet has miracles. Allah support him with miracles. As if they want to say the Prophet never worked hard. No, what are you talking about? Those miracles not to make what he made. Those miracles for other purposes. But he made that by planning, by taking means, by making the effort. And that's what we need as a ummah. May Allah guide us all. And may Allah increase our love to our beloved Muhammad in our hearts. What he have done for the ummah, that the whole ummah cannot pay back what he did for them. But at least, as a sign of the love, we read his seerah, and every time his name mentioned, we say, Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. اللهم وفقنا ما تحب وترضاه واعط لكل عبد منا من الخير ما نواه وصلي وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد ومن والاه سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك